District to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Chr.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Chr.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees, so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 16th day of February 2022, right here in the Cayman Islands. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may be your own. If you're celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, belated happy birthday to you. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and also that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility, we wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Chr, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson again, waiting there to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord@candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. And if you just simply want to follow us on YouTube, you do that by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. In the studio with me this morning, my pleasure to have again along with me none other than Dr. Steve McField. And Doc, what I'm going to do before I have you say a few words is to give our listening and viewing audience a little bit of history. And today, this date in history, one of the things that occurred, and this occurred on the 16th of February in the year 600. That would be 600 AD, not 600 BC. The coining of the phrase, God bless you, or when we say bless you when someone sneezes. So here is where they say that originated. It starts by saying today saying bless you is an almost knee-jerk response when someone nearby, friend or stranger, sneezes. fact that would certainly make Pope Gregory I proud. On February the 16th 600 CE, he issued a papal edict stating that the phrase, "God bless you," was the correct response whenever a Christian was within earshot of a sneeze. At the time, Europeans were still more than 1,400 years removed from understanding the bacterial science behind diseases such as the plague, and believed a sneeze was an early warning sign. So the Pope hoped to ward off illness and death by encouraging Christians to answer any sneeze with a blessing. However, some historians theorize that Gregory I was only formalizing a sneeze courtesy already well established throughout Europe. They go on to say that in 77 CE, Roman author Pliny the Elder questioned the motive for salute a person when he sneezes in his book Natural History, and in 150 CE, a writer mentioned sneeze blessings in his famous novel The Golden Ass. So although the original reason behind this ancient response is still a mystery, it is likely people have been blessing sudden convulsive explosions of air for nearly 2,000 years. So some of it is attributed, part of it is attributed to Gregory the First, but then we come along and we hear about other individuals as well. So that's today's date in history. Wow. Doc, good morning. Welcome. Thanks for being here again. I know you have to leave either early or on time because you have to be in court this morning. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your friends in For the Record land, and all our people in the Cayman diaspora, and all of those who listens to you Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, all over the world. I know that you have listeners all over because I have texts from different places of people saying what a great host you are and what a good show that you put on. And I'm so happy to be here with you and sharing those historical facts. I was just wondering, you say about God bless you with a sneeze. I just wondered, what's the origin of the words "go to hell"? because that's sort of opposite to that.
Yes.
You know, like people will say, well, go to hell, and I wonder how that originated.
Well, we can see what we can find on that as well. We'll do a little bit of research for that also. Yes.
So yes, and it's good that you find these historical facts and you bring them. I didn't know that. It was 600 BC that Pope Gregory the First, who was one of the notorious popes in the history of the popedom, that coined that phrase and said that it should be used on that occasion.
Yeah. Okay. I believe we have a caller already, so let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Ossie. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Very good. Very, very good. I want to be the first to congratulate Joseph Joey Woods on his retirement. I know it's out in the media.
Yes, I heard it. Yeah.
And I'd like to congratulate him on his well done service at the fort. He's achieved many things while he was there, and also note that during the outbreak of COVID that we were locked down, there were not one person at the port that contracted the virus while he was acting port director. It was after he came out from that position that they started getting COVID. But up until he left, there were none that had COVID.
Okay, and we shouldn't forget also that he was a inspector in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, and one of the younger inspectors. I think he and now the Collector of Customs, Mr. Charles Clifford, may have been in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service around about the same time. I'm not sure whether or not they may have been in the same cohort, but both of them rose quite rapidly through the ranks of the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service as well.
He was in the commercial crime unit when he retired from there, and he was head of security at the port at first, and then the last port director, they managed to get rid of him, and then they couldn't find nobody else, and they put him as acting.
It seems as if ever since, we had Mr. Sama Jackson, late Sama Jackson, who was a port director. Then we also had Mr. Errol Bush there. And then after that, there seemed to be nothing but instability as far as the director of the port is concerned. When you look at other...
Paul Hurlson was there for a while.
Yes, Paul Hurlson was there also. But when you look... If you look at the fire department, for instance, you had Mr. Kirkland,
the great Kirkland Nixon 40,
who was
years
there. And after that, everything went topsy-turvy. Customs, much more stability there. And I don't like to blow my own horn, but immigration, we had stability there as well. Right. John Bostock, I took over from John Bostock. In the interim, we had... a gentleman who filled in for a while. Then the now Deputy Governor, Mr. Franz Manderson, was the Chief Immigration Officer. When he became Deputy, then things started to fall apart there as well. I wonder if it has anything to do with succession planning and those that come later on, or whether or not when you have there's too much rapid movement at the top. And
sometimes, I think what happens, the persons that are actually put in charge are not qualified for that position.
So they're set up to fail.
Yes, a lot of chaos going on, and that not saying that they're not qualified, but they're not qualified for that position.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, but congratulations to Joey, and I guess everybody knows he's also my brother.
Yep. But big shout out to him. Shout out to him.
But before you go, Mr. Wood, there was a gentleman that was in a cohort with Joey when he was in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Force. His last name was Thompson. Whatever happened to him?
I'm not sure.
Greg.
Was it Greg? I think his name was Greg Thompson. Greg Thompson. It was Joey, Greg Thompson, MacArthur Madison, and all of those people from that era.
There was one that actually passed away probably a year or two ago from cancer.
Okay.
Gibson, I think his name was.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much. Thank you. All the best, and we wish your brother,
all the success.
All success in his future endeavors, as well. We hope he's not permanently retired.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that because I will never retire.
Yes.
I'm going to go to the last day.
That's right. That's the whole idea. Yes. Okay, we're going to take our first commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
In 1904, Cayman Brac turtling captain and boat builder Daniel Jervis built a prototype Caymanian catboat named Terra, an obvious improvement on the previous canoe-style boats of the day. The Caymanian catboat was on average 16 feet long and drew no more than 8 inches of water. Painted in their distinctive catboat blue color, it provided effective camouflage when seen from below, permitting the crew to discreetly approach turtles.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Zara. If you are students in Cayman between 3 and 16 years old and love reading books like I do, welcome to the first Rotary Central Video Book Report competition. Record your short video, no more than 90 seconds, on why you love your favorite book, what made you excited, or what made you laugh. There are lots of fabulous prizes. Too many to talk about now. For further information and sign up, go to Rotary Central Cayman Islands Facebook page or email david.rotarycentral@gmail.com. Record your book report video and send it by March 31st. So easy, so fun. The Rotary Central Cayman Islands Video Book Report Competition. Rotary serves to change lives.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
This Valentine's, save 25% on new Tempur-Pedic or Sealy mattress. Yes, 25% off plus free delivery on mattresses, adjustable bases, and foundations during Brand Source Home Gallery Valentine Tempur-Pedic and Sealy mattress sale on now. Select from firm, medium, soft, and pillow top in all sizes. Hurry! Sale ends Saturday, February 19th. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive. Call 949-5000 for details.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have about 10 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. Doc, so we don't have any particular topic planned this morning, but our first caller prompted, some dialogue there. And at some point in time this morning, I want to talk about succession planning, in particular in government, because we see where there is legislation in relation to the private sector, that they should have training programs. They should even have some sort of succession planning. There's a particular section in the Immigration Transition Act in relation to requiring companies to identify a Caymanian to take over a position that is occupied by a work permit holder, and based on that, you're able to sort of have some say over that particular position, and you get the companies to report to you in terms of what progress they make. Of course, they try to find ways of trying to get around that, but I want to talk more about the government and Section 16 of a Constitution. I pointed out before departments like Customs, Immigration, the Port Authority we spoke about, the fire service. And then, of course, there are the chief officer positions, deputy chief officer positions. We still have positions in the Cayman Islands that have traditionally been held by non-Caymanians, and we have not been able to break through that glass ceiling. Sometimes when we take one step forward, and then we move two steps backwards, and I'll use an example of that. When we had the Information Commissioner's office that was separate from the Ombudsman's office, we had when that was established. Again, I'm not going to blow my own horn or whatever they call it, but the Cabinet Office was responsible for shepherding through legislation, or at least preparing it. The politicians took it through as far as Freedom of Information Act was concerned in the Cayman Islands. We developed it. We went to various jurisdictions. We went, myself, Mr. Tim Hubble, who was and I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Tim Hubble, an excellent civil servant man who was quite qualified. But at some point in time, you find that when you fall foul of politicians in government, it can stymie your career, or and break. Sometimes they even try to break your spirit. But one of the most qualified civil servants, Mr. Tim Hubble, and he started out in tourism, went over to Bermuda and trained over there. Teacher Macfield was very instrumental in his training and stuff like that. But I talked so fast there that I lost my train of thought. Oh, so the Information Commissioner, we went to New Zealand. We went over there to a conference. We brought someone in from Jamaica who was well-versed in freedom of information legislation, had her contracted for a given period of time. Stipulation in that contract was that she would be succeeded by a Caymanian. When we appointed the first Information Commissioner, Miss Jennifer Dilbert, who do we have now as Information Commissioner? We have a non-Caymanian. Nothing to do with the personalities. I'm talking about government policy now, as well. We had a Complaints Commissioner.
Yes.
We had Nicola Williams from the UK. Of course, we've taken everything and amalgamated it basically into one. But a lot of the more important positions, influential positions in the Cayman Islands. When I say influential, in terms of not that in terms of the personality, but the post and what you can, what you can achieve in that post. Many of them still not held by Caymanians. But we won't talk about that later. The other day, you and I and Lord Graham we were on the phone talking about Prince William and Kate's visit to the Caribbean. And we were wondering whether or not they would be coming to the Cayman Islands and when that announcement would be made. And I don't believe that we're going to get an announcement about them coming to the Cayman Islands. And the reason that I say that is I see an article here that talks about the fact that Prince William and Kate will be going to the Caribbean on a charm offensive as nations debate severing royal ties. So the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge will visit the Bahamas, Jamaica, and Belize next month as they seek to prevent further Caribbean nations from severing ties with the Queen.
That is
how interesting! How interesting!
That Barbados set off now an interest now in the Caribbean by the Crown. They were all worried now that they are going to lose that control, that coercive control over a set of people, a complete set of people. Yeah. Remember now, after Brexit, they're just an island in the northern in the northern Atlantic Ocean. They're not a country now with empire. Although they still give up medals and honors to say that they're members of, say that they have this great empire and that people are members of it, but but in reality they're just a small little island in the northern Atlantic Ocean, and now they're seeking now to hold on to the legacy that their conquering forefathers were
the Commonwealth is the only thing that they have to hold on to now.
Exactly.
Yes.
And they are worried now that the next place that they're thinking about republicanship is Jamaica. And so you notice they're going there first.
Yeah.
They're going to Jamaica first.
Yes.
And to persuade those people, don't do what Barbados did. Stay with us. We're all in the same family. We're all in the same family until they need us. But when we need them, we're not family at all. We were just in the Caribbean, and Cayman. They're not going to come to Cayman, Mr. For the record. They're not going to come here
because we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere. We're
more British than they are.
Yes, and we're not even entertaining internal self-government. Much to go further than that. Yes. So they're not going to come here. They're not going to come here. They have us under control.
They know where their bread is buttered, as those old people would say.
Yes.
Okay, folks. Yes. Top of the hour headline, 8 o'clock news, not headline news, 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Macfield will continue. And, of course, we invite you, if you have anything that you want to share with us, please call in. I will share those numbers with you again when we return from the 8 o'clock news, so please stay tuned.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 7:59.
At Foster's, you'll always find the biggest specials on the products you love.
Like Tostitos chips, $3.79, save $1.90. Organic Valley extra large eggs, just $5.79, save 80 cents. And Scottish salmon fillets, flown in fresh 3 times a week for just $15.99 per pound, save $6.
Price is good until 23rd February 2022. You'll even get more great specials in store or visit fosters.ky for our online catalog. Foster's, better prices because we care.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
The
voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Cayman's coconut-themed celebration is back, with Cocoa Fest taking place on the 26th. Hosted at Pedro St. James by the Tourism Attraction Board, this year we'll see a few changes.
We will have a scaled-down event this year with about 10 or 15 less vendors than we've seen in previous years due to the COVID-19 regulations currently in place, in which we will be adhering to.
TAB's Mona Mead says masks will be required and there will be sanitizing stations set up.
We do expect a fun event, an interesting event where we can showcase the cottage industry businesses that are here on island with new entrepreneurs coming out, and to let people know that we are back by popular demand because our vendors really love to showcase their coconut wares here at this event.
Cocoa Fest was created in 2016 as a way to celebrate the coconut and to preserve its ties to Caymanian culture and heritage. Visitors can look forward to an array of locally cooked foods, candies, produce, games, and beauty products. There will also be an arts and crafts corner hosted by the Visual Arts Society. This month, the Cayman Islands National Museum is showcasing its patriotic products, from catboat and coat of arms ties to mini banders, desk flags, and coat of arms cufflinks.
It's a way to continue to promote our heritage and our culture, have a sense of pride.
The museum's Doss Solomon tells Radio Cayman it's a great time to come to the waterfront and check out what's on offer. Members can get a 10% discount, and you'll be supporting an excellent cause.
Because we're a nonprofit, it's very important because we rely on donations as well as the self-generated revenue that we make from these products.
Find out more by visiting museum.ky, or you can check out their social media. In regional news, former deputy chairman of the Firearm Licensing Authority, Dennis Meadows, is alleging that there is major corruption at the agency. According to Meadows, as recently as last week, an acquaintance of his paid $1.3 million to an emissary of the FLA officials to obtain a firearm license in a record time of 2 months. He has renewed calls for the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, the Integrity Commission, and the Auditor General's Department to immediately conduct a probe into allegations of impropriety at the agency. Meanwhile, the former FLA deputy chairman has rejected allegations made by the FLA chief executive officer, Shane Dowling, earlier this week. At the press conference, Dowling raised grave concern about Meadows' conduct as an FLA director. But Meadows has described Dowling's utterances as incendiary and defamatory. Now with the check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. NATO's Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg says the alliance has not seen any evidence that Russia is de-escalating its military build-up against Ukraine. He was speaking shortly after the Russian Defense Ministry said some units were returning to their bases after exercises in Crimea. But Mr. Stoltenberg said the message from Moscow that it was still open to diplomacy was grounds for cautious optimism. The European Union's highest court has ruled that the EU can reduce funding for member states found to have breached certain democratic standards. Judges at the European Court of Justice dismissed a challenge by Poland and Hungary. Poland called the decision an attack on its sovereignty, and the Hungarian Justice Minister, Judith Varga, accused Brussels of abusing its power. Flooding and landslides triggered by torrential rain north of Rio de Janeiro have left at least 18 people dead. Search and rescue teams are focusing efforts in the Brazilian city of Petrópolis. Hong Kong media say that the Chinese President Xi Jinping has urged the territory's leaders to take all necessary measures to control a surging outbreak of coronavirus. Mr. Xi's rare intervention may signal tighter controls in the autonomous territory. More than 4,000 new cases were reported in Hong Kong on Wednesday, a new record. Police in Israel have arrested 17 Israelis suspected of having attacked a Palestinian town in the occupied West Bank last month. The incident, which was caught on video, occurred when a convoy of about 30 vehicles heading towards a Jewish settlement stopped in the Palestinian town of Huwara. A law in Kuwait that criminalised imitating the appearance of the opposite sex has been declared unconstitutional in what's being seen as a victory for transgender people. The lawyer who successfully challenged the law has described the decision as a remarkable ruling that won justice for many. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Zara. If you are students in Cayman between 3 and 16 years old and love reading books like I do, welcome to the first Rotary Central Video Book Report competition. Record your short video, no more than 90 seconds, on why you love your favorite book, what made you excited, or what made you laugh. There are lots of fabulous prizes. Too many to talk about now. For further information and sign up, go to Rotary Central Cayman Islands Facebook page or email david.rotarycentral@gmail.com. Record your book report video and send it by March 31st. So easy, so fun. The Rotary Central Cayman Islands Video Book Report Competition. Rotary serves to change lives.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.com. KY or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy now with a new and second location in Governor's Square. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor's Square is open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by Chr Hybrid, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. Chr Hybrid. Good like that.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Synopsis indicate fresh winds and rough seas are expected across the Cayman area associated with a high-pressure system over the western Atlantic Ocean. Satellite images show patches of low-level clouds moving west across the area. Now, the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of morning showers, and temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 15 to 20 knots, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 5 to 7 feet. Small craft warning is in effect for today, and the forecast for tonight is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of nighttime showers, and temperatures will fall to the low 70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should exercise caution over open water. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 9:48, low tide this afternoon at 3:57, and a high tide again tonight at 9:38. The sun will set this evening at 6:25 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:53. And the outlook is calling for a gradual decrease in wind speeds and seas from Thursday evening as the high-pressure system moves over the central Atlantic Ocean.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Head east on Cove Road. Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? Nope, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Hey, top of the morning to you. Let's take a look at what's happening on the roads. As we look to the east on Shamrock Road, heavy traffic. Also heavy traffic on the Linford-Pearson Highway. So slight delays expected as you head on down to Georgetown. Busy traffic on Chr Road headed Georgetown, and eastbound traffic on Chr Road is moving along pretty good. On the Westway Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. As we look to Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is flowing at a good pace. And light traffic on Edward Street and on Huldah Avenue, steady but flowing traffic. And light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. Coming from the Westway four-way stop, you can expect moderate flow of traffic. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Have a good morning and drive safe, Cayman Islands.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Tune in Thursday, February 17th at 7 p.m. as Radio Cayman broadcast the special community meeting by the Honorable Sabrina Turner, elected representative for the Electoral District of Prospect and the Minister for Health and Wellness. Live on Radio Cayman Thursday, February 17th at 7 p.m. 89.9 FM, Grand Cayman, 93.9 FM, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McFeel. I promised you that I would give you the numbers in the event that you want to call in. We don't have anything in particular that we want to talk about this morning, although we're going to talk about succession planning in the Cayman Islands, as far as the upward mobility of Caymanians are concerned, to the some of the top jobs in the Cayman Islands. So our toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. Then other line numbers 949-8037, 949-6990. Our email is for the record, one word, for the record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. And we want to give a big shout out to all of those persons who are following us on YouTube as well, and we want to remind you to share it with your friends as well. Lots to say here on For the Record. We try to impart information to you. We try to be as informative as possible, but we also want to give you an opportunity for you to share your comments as well. We have two callers. Let's go to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Ossie.
Hey, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Billy.
Good morning, Dr. Steve and the esteemed listeners. This is nothing controversial today. I will assure you, just a nice, I think, short, feel-good call. I was really very nostalgic, Ossie, when you talked about freedom of information. You remember very well that you and I, Tim Hubble, Jan Liebers, worked together on that.
Yes.
And the lady, I think you mentioned, the one you say who came from Jamaica, it is probably this lady.
Carol was her first name. Carol
Excel, yeah.
Yes, Carol Excel, that's it, yes.
Yeah, a very, very sound lady you guys brought in from Jamaica, and she had worked for the Carter Center. She had a really good profile.
Yes.
I must say also, with Tim, I found him very sound because, I mean, I was surprised that in the end that, like, he retired soon thereafter and so forth. But I mean, these are things. But Jan Liebers too is also very, 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 very sound. I don't want to comment on the whole issue of succession planning, but really just to commend all these people that really I found that they were very, very competent. They were people who, I was very privileged to work with. But otherwise, I just thought, well, I must just join in and be nostalgic about it and share that nostalgia with you. Today, I'll leave it to you to discuss the succession planning and what legislation.
No, but I'm gonna put you hold your feet to the fire from a different perspective, Billy, and that is that you have been, within government, so you see it from another end where you are coming from another jurisdiction, coming into the Cayman Islands. There are Caymanians working in the legal department, and give us your take on in terms of how they have been treated. I know a young lady who she's still in the legal profession. She is now with the courts, and I still am convinced that she would make an excellent either Solicitor General or Attorney General for the Cayman Islands. But if your progress is stymied, then you have no other option but to try to branch out and go somewhere else where you can actually, achieve, the potential that you have. And I'm not going to call the person's name, but people will know who I'm talking about because they were also involved in they were more involved in the constitutional end of things than anything else.
Oh, and I think I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Well, you see, I was hoping I could get away with it, but I haven't. But you put me on the spot, but I think I should be fair to you and your listeners and Dr. Steve and express a view on it.
Sure.
In particular, you see, in relation to the portfolio of legal affairs, it's been quite disappointing. I don't want to say that the people who are recruited there don't know how to do their job. No. That's not the point you are making. That's not the point I am making.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think that there has been lack of succession planning, not just in government, but specifically in the portfolio of legal affairs. I am aware, for example, when the position of Solicitor General was advertised, I know two people, very distinguished, competent, more than competent, particularly talented Caymanian lawyers who applied for that position. I believe they were interviewed, but they were never given the job, and I don't understand why that happened. That got nothing to do with the current occupant of the position. Who I know I worked with an absolutely super lawyer and super person.
Certainly, yes, no question.
But at the end of the day, you see, these are things that you look at and you say, how can you have a legal department where virtually there are no Caymanian lawyers? I mean, how do you expect that people in there can have a good understanding of the society and ensure that as they give their legal opinions, they will be able to take into account the history of legislation, the history of the society, and so forth. I really think that there's need for succession planning. You have to be able to say, in 5 years, we want 20% of the positions in legal to be occupied by Caymanians in 10 years and so on. I know that Mr. Kenneth Bryan tried to introduce a motion, or he did introduce a motion in the Legislative Assembly in the last government when he was a backbencher, to say that the heads of departments and the deputy heads of people in government in 5 years, like a certain percentage should be Caymanian. But even government didn't support it.
No.
So I'm not quite sure about that. But anyway, you got it out of me, but that's my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Billy. Okay, we're going to grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Good morning, Mr. Mark.
Good morning. How are you doing? How are you?
I am fine. I am pleased with the government. Eventually, I got my 3 lights that I was fighting for from 2018.
Excellent. Great.
But I'm afraid I don't give up till I turn belly up, like my mother used to say. And up in here look like Atlantic City now. We got the lights for the thieves. Now we need the speed bump for the speeders.
Yeah, and all we have to do now is put your name up in the lights.
Yes.
Like Las Vegas, huh?
Las Vegas, yes.
I fight for them. And thanks to the 2 Brazilian young guys, I saw them on Thursday last week, and they promised me by Friday, because it was approved, by Friday the lights won't be up. They had word, so I got them. But what I wanted to say this morning too, I promoting Donna Myra sale.
Oh, yes, I heard that.
Yes, and she got nice quality shoes, because I've been buying from her. From she opened, and she got good customer service skills, and she got a person that work with her, that know how to treat you, because the majority of these people around here do have customer service skills. The people talk in the morning when their mouth push out when you go to certain places, they look like double fighting them out of their bed. And she got to treat you good, and the prices are good. If you get a pair of nice shoes down there for $50, $60, $CI dollars, that, and let me tell you, you aren't get sick of wearing them.
Yeah,
you're not wearing them out. So she got good sales started Valentine's Day till the 19th.
And she's Caymanian, so we should be supporting her.
That's right. That's who you got to support. Don't buy something that by the time you go up your song, you can look like you're begging bed or drop off your foot.
Yeah, and I think she
very good. So I urge you about it to go to the sale. Government paid it tomorrow, so then they can buy it.
It is tomorrow? Oh, God. Thank you very much for reminding us.
Yes, I've been waiting. I didn't have no money, but she put mine out because I'm a good customer. So yes. I will get them tomorrow by the help of the Lord.
You're a good customer, and you're a loyal customer as well, which is good. Yeah. Yes.
And the next government paid it is March 21st. I can tell you one for the year. Write it down. If you need to know when, I called it when the turtle got crop. If you need to know that, just call me. Because I'll be living from paycheck to paycheck. My son said this morning, Mommy, it's bad to be poor. We living for. I said, well, thank God for good small mercy. Some people can't live from paycheck to paycheck. At least we got a benefit.
Yes.
So I'm not complaining.
If you know how to manage it,
yes.
then you don't go beyond your expectations.
Right. I don't fly my hat high and I can reach it. Yeah. My mother taught me that. If you can't pay one, you can't pay two, because two is more than one.
All right. Thank you very much for that. And I believe, Miss Donna, they're running ads on Radio Cayman, right? Yes.
I know, but I tell her, she said, because last time I sent plenty of people, she said, I did good out of you. So spread the word. I say, I will. I'm a talk show host. One girl asked me at Foster. So I said, how come I don't hear you in a talk show? She said, I like to hear you. And then she said to me, but you're not afraid they beat you? Not to beat me, so I don't get on that to say nothing that can put Cayman radio on the firing squad. Now, whatever thing, I'm like the clock. I say what I know and what I'm a person for right or wrong. So I say, who can beat me? I can't beat nobody, but they're not going to beat me, baby.
Okay, I want to thank you. Thank you very much, and keep calling us and keep, like we said.
You're bothering me right now. I got good teams. I said, listen for every Wednesday.
Okay.
So I hope she's listening.
I'm sure she will. If not, they can go back and check it out on YouTube as well. So they can replay it on YouTube. Thank you very much for that. And Doc, again, it goes to show you that the greasy, what is it? Is the greasy wheel gets the oil?
That's right.
You keep complaining, you keep pushing, and you pushing people, and eventually, things will come around. And she fought for those street lights, and eventually,
and she never
she
gave
got
up.
it as well. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So. Yeah. We got something out of Billy as far as the legal department is concerned. But to a certain extent, I understand that you're running a government, you're running a civil service, and you also want to get the best of the best whenever possible. But I think that you have to balance that against, when you weigh that against the interest of Caymanians and giving Caymanians a chance, an opportunity, that it should always weigh in favor of the Caymanians as opposed to looking for the best of the best.
Yes. And you speak about that. I think the last time I was here, you had two young ladies. I think they're from Scotland. They were here. I think they worked in the marine biology section.
Oh, yes, on Monday. Yeah.
On Monday, yes. And it was very interesting, their experience. And I think they were trying to treat the coral.
That was the disease. Yes. One was a diver, and one was. She's the coordinator of the program. Yeah.
And as I left your studio and went back to my office, I was just thinking all through the weekend: is the science on that so hard, or so tough? If the science on that particular what they're doing so tough that you can't find Caymanians to train also for that.
Mm-hmm. And then the question would be, how many Caymanians do we have who are studying marine biology?
Biology, yes. Yeah. Because that has to be part of our environmental science too. And I was wondering, the science can't be that hard that Caymanians can't master it.
Oh no,
understand it.
No.
So, where are the Caymanians now on studying them?
Doc, I'm going to say this, and without fear of contradiction, or successful contradiction. If you have Caymanians who are heads of departments, who are either heads of department, chief officers, or whomever, if they do not have that personal commitment to ensure that Caymanians progress, to ensure when they're hiring that first and foremost they hire Caymanians. And I'm not saying that you should introduce any sort of affirmative action programs for that to happen, because I don't believe that we need that, because we have Caymanians who can successfully take up those positions without, as the Jamaicans would say, without having to give them a bly. But you have to have that commitment to seek them out, to identify them, and to give them that opportunity. And if the Caymanians who are in the top positions are not going to do that, then that is where our problem resides, right there. We have two callers. Let's grab the first caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
I was listening to your show and listening when you were talking about succession planning and putting the best people in government in certain positions. By the way, my name is Tina Ebanks McBean.
Okay.
I work with the Cayman Islands Fire Service.
Yes.
And I want to send a great big congratulations out to Dwight Randa Rankin for being confirmed as designated Chief Fire Officer.
Yes.
Caymanian in the post. And just to show that, the government is doing its best in certain areas. I mean, it takes a little time to ensure that you got the right person in place. But to the people of the Cayman Islands, I would like to say, I can assure you that he is the right individual. I was one of the applicants, and I know where my shortfall was. And I would say where it comes to protecting lives and protecting property and saving lives, we have the right man in the seat right now.
Yes, yes. And I take it you give him your 150 to 200% support.
I give him 1,000,000% support.
Great.
He's a great team player, excellent guy, fierce with the job he does, and let me tell you, he has the most experience in command and control of the applicants. And I say that to say that I joined the fire service in 2002. He joined a few years before me, but he has been on the front line protecting property and saving lives for his entire career. And for me, I have had operational experience for a period of only 5 years of my career as an operational firefighter, and have been in the field on some occasions working alongside him. But I would say he was definitely the right pick for this seat.
Okay.
So thanks to the government, thanks to our leaders, thanks to Chief Fire Officer Paul Walker, who is doing an excellent job with preparing us strategically. And thanks to the people of the Cayman Islands that believe in us.
Excellent.
And ma'am, thanks for you for supporting your rival
and doing it
properly.
Yes.
And I really this morning sincerely, profoundly commend you for that. That shows that the commitment that you have to your profession and to your organization and to your job. Most people would say, "Well, I'm not interested because I didn't get the job," and so forth. I really profoundly commend you, and I'd like to meet you sometime, and so I could shake your hand and I could tell you to your face.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. And just to say to the women of the Cayman Islands, we're looking for some seriously strong women to join the fire service. We're doing a recruitment now, but today is testing day, so next recruitment, some more ladies can put in their application. But I look for powerhouse ladies like myself and Tiffany Ebanks and Amelia that are here right now.
Okay, so you have three. How many female officers are currently in the fire service?
3 of us.
3 of you? Oh, great.
They're powerhouse ladies, so we want some stronger women than us to take the wheel eventually.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much, and thanks for your service and helping to keep the Cayman Islands safe as well. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feel.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
This Valentine's, save 25% on new Tempur-Pedic or Sealy mattress. Yes, 25% off plus free delivery on mattresses, adjustable bases, and foundations during Brand Source Home Gallery Valentine Tempur-Pedic and Sealy mattress sale on now. Select from firm, medium, soft, and pillow top in all sizes. Hurry! Sale ends Saturday, February 19th. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive. Call 949-5000 for details.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McPhail. One caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you, sir. Okay, I'm going to be quick and...
Take your time. Take your time.
Okay, sir. Okay, we know that in the Cayman Islands we have a rainy season. Some people call it hurricane season. I'm going to call it rainy season because what you say is what you may get.
Mm-hmm.
Rainy season is June to November. But we noticed the past couple of weeks we've been getting rain. You leave your home and it's dry, but then you go down the road, you're going to find wet road. So I'm going to say this for maybe new drivers and even experienced drivers.
Mm-hmm.
You're driving along. I'm going to warn that you keep extending your view along the roadway. You may have a difference in the road surface.
Yes.
That just in case you see a difference, unfavorable road surface condition, you have a bend coming up. Do your braking while traveling on a straight road.
Mm-hmm.
No braking when you're going around. It's dangerous to brake on a bend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're braking on a bend. It's like that you're going to develop a skid.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you two definitions for skid. A skid is when you lose traction, lose traction in the road surface.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ordinary layman's term for a skid. Now, the proper definition for a skid that's in my road craft book is a skid is the involuntary movement of a vehicle due to the grip of the tires on the road surface becoming less than a force or forces acting on the vehicle. I'm going to go slow so you get it, because that was too fast.
Okay.
A skid is the involuntary movement of a vehicle due to the grip of the tires on the road surface becoming less than force or forces acting upon the vehicle.
And can you tell our listening and viewing audience, when you go into a skid in a vehicle, what you should do? Because most people react the wrong way when they end up into a skid. So can you tell us what we should be doing?
Yeah. Okay, someone has called me and I'm not going to take the call. There are three types of skid.
Uh-huh.
You have a front wheel skid,
Mm-hmm.
a rear wheel skid, and a four wheel skid.
Right.
So you'd have to first recognize the type of skid that you're in.
Uh-huh. But should you try to counter the skid, or should you turn into the skid, drive into it?
Okay, if it's a rear wheel skid, you feel the rear end of the vehicle sliding to the rear.
Mm-hmm.
If the rear end is sliding to the right, you steer to the right. But first, you have to remove the cause of the skid. If it's caused by you accelerating, take your foot off the gas.
Right.
If it's caused by you braking, take your foot off the brake.
Right.
And I want to say quickly, wet road doesn't cause skid. A lot of people believe, because the road was wet, why I call it wet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's not true.
Mm-hmm. It's the way that you're operating the vehicle that will cause it.
Definitely. And
if you don't adjust your...
that guy, his tire is too smooth. That's why he got into a skid. Smooth tire doesn't cause skid.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't contribute, but could it doesn't smooth tires don't contribute at all to skid?
You're more prone to experience a skid if you have smooth tire or wet road, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself is not the cause.
Right, got you. Not the sole contributor.
No, sir.
Okay.
And I've proven, I did a test. The person that was calling me, I know he's calling me to counter what I'm saying, but I did not take his call.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did some tests and trying to confirm or getting to what I'm saying, so I didn't take his call.
Okay. But you can debate him afterwards. Yeah. All right. Want to thank you. Thank you. Very much for sharing that with you, and we know that you know what you're talking about as well. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Not so bad. Calling here from the beautiful Cayman Brock.
Aye. How's the weather over there? How's the weather?
Nice and breezy, man. Nice and breezy.
Yes.
Checking on my melons and my bottlers, but
before you go on, speaking of bottlers,
yes,
I have I shouldn't say because I may go home and not find them.
You may go home and find the tree gone.
How long does it take for bottlers to what we call fit? Because they seem to take a long time to fit. Is that true?
Yeah, they can take up to 3 months. It depends on the amount of once they bud out. It depends on whether you want to remove their bottoms.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, and then just give it time to completely fill up. They can take up to 3 months to completely fill to the point where you want to pick them comfortably. But the key to that is constantly give it water. And the more water you give it, the faster they fill.
Yeah.
Because bottler is a plant that he like over banana and plantain. He just can't do without that water, and that is the trick to him.
Got you.
I've been successful through the years of finding different techniques of growing them. And actually, one time here on the Brock, I even got the honors at the show. I think that was the last. No, that was the second to the last show that we ever had here on the Brock at the agriculture grounds. I got the highest honors and first place for my bottlers. I mean, I grow bananas and I grow plantain as well, and Hawaiian plantains and all the likes. But
what about apple bananas? You got apple bananas? Yeah. I love that. That's my favorite apple banana.
I got them out of the way. So looking at one tree now that going to shoot, and I got about 15, 16 other ones that are almost there. So, but I just love bottlers. I mean, I love apple bananas too. But the key thing to that apple banana is he needs space. And if he don't have his own space, he's not going to produce the way he should produce. If you ask me, he comes in like a pear tree. If a pear tree don't have room, a pear tree not going to produce freely.
Yeah.
And an apple banana is a finicky plant. I mean, you can put him down and you can put him amongst other bananas, but he just wants his own space.
So if you have a cluster of them, you should sort of like weed them out. Don't let too many cluster in one spot when it comes to the apple banana.
Yeah, because the thing is with apple banana, he don't mind being around his own type. If you put him among, let's say, some people just throw a plant and suck it down next to him for it to grow. The thing about that apple banana, what he's going to do, he's going to try to compete with that plant and sucker, and he's going to grow and he's going to grow and he's going to grow until he gets the sunlight. And he can keep growing. He can keep growing until he gets 10 feet high, 12 feet high before he puts out. And in a sense, to you, that's a loss of time in production, because if you can get that tree to bear up to 7 feet, 6, 7 feet, that is good growth. But if you put another competitor next to her, which is the apple banana, if you put another competitor next to that, she's going to compete with that next sucker no matter what it is there.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second. One of our listeners said that apple banana tree sound like some of the foreigners that we have here in Cayman.
That sounds like a lot of the foreigners we have in Cayman. That is exactly one of the things I wanted the topic on when I called you. I wasn't calling you to talk about bottlers and apple bananas. Yeah, that does sound like our foreigners. But earlier I heard you speaking about the marine sector. We do have a lot of smart kids coming out of our schools, especially here in the Brock. I don't know too much about Grand Cayman, how much biologists coming out of there, but we have a lot of kids here in the Brock that want to get involved in the marine sector. But the problem is, I know when they were looking for a Marine officer here on the Brac. Me, myself, as a retired fire officer, I would not have mind going into the sector of the Marine for the protection of our country.
Mm-hmm.
Not for a foreigner to come here and tell me what my fish is. I know the type of fish. I know how coral. I was listening to someone on the radio some days ago speaking about coral dying in the sea. And all of my life growing up, my father would take me along the shore and show me different areas where fish are not going to have, where fish are not going to, they call it now, migrate, or they're not going to harbor, because when you look on the shore is the identification of growth. And if you look on the shoreline and you see a dead sign of moss or no growth of moss or whatever, you know that fish are not going to be in that area. So he would take us somewhere else. And these people come here, they tell us about our fish, they tell us we can't have our squab to eat and everything else. And when we as Cayman Brackers applied for that Marine officer job, there's a young man in that sector that is a Caymanian. As a matter of fact, he's a Cayman Bracker.
Mm-hmm.
And he plainly told the people he do not want a Caymanian in that system. And today we have nothing but foreigners into the system here in Cayman Brac. They want humbug those foreigners that out there diving with their tanks. And why are you diving with a tank and have a net in your hand? That only telling me one thing: you're going out there confiscating lobster because you don't need a net to catch a conch. And these are people that coming into our country, destroying our fishery when it's in season or out of season, because they are foreigners. They're not going to speak to the foreigners that are doing it. But the Caymanians cannot get the jobs because sometimes it falls on our own people, holding our own people down.
Mm-hmm. Now you have CC. I think it's called Caribbean Marine Institute over in Little Cayman. How involved are they with the local? I don't want to use that word local. How are they involved with the Brackers and the students over there? Do they seek to get them involved in their programs? Do you know?
Well, since the COVID restrictions and things like that, it has become a hold on the kids here on the Brac going over there, because they used to go there often for their I forget what they actually call the seminars and things that they have there. And that's what I was saying first. There's a lot of kids that are interested in it. And I think there's only one young little Cayman Bracker that actually is in the system, and he adopted into that system, I think because he have U.S. citizenship or some other reason, but he's still a Caymanian. He's still a Cayman Bracker. I think he's the only one, because little Cayman restrictions down there are like Cuba. I mean, you can't go there and do absolutely nothing. Cayman Brac has a little freeness, but the kids going over there, that I don't think they're doing that anymore. But I know my son himself had numerous amount of trips over in Little Cayman doing seminars there with them, because he was interested in it before he went off to the University of Savannah to do his 4 years course there. And even if he come back and applied, they don't want to hire him, even though he did studies and can get into these jobs.
Well, we're gonna have to push that. But caller, sorry I have to interrupt you there because I've gone over my time. But we wanted to give the Brac an opportunity to express themselves. And please call in again, because we need to talk a little bit more about those bottlers and those apple bananas as well.
I want to know your recipe for cooking them.
Okay, so you can call back and talk about that as well. Thank you very much. Caller, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Wave your country flag, sport your favorite jersey, show off that national costume, or channel your inner majesty with a salute to the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. It's Dress for Culture Day with a Majesty theme, Friday, March 11th. Brought to you by the Cultural Foundation as part of K-Fest 2022. Celebrate Cayman's cultural melting pot with a Dress Down fundraiser, open to schools, businesses, and individuals for donations of just $5 for adults, $3 for students. Visit artscayman.org for more information.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning, Dr. Steve McField. Ms. Susan, do we have a caller on hold? Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
I am calling in on we're talking about the marine biologists.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my son has a master in marine biology, and he do work for the marine biology for the government.
Department of Environment? Uh-huh.
Yes. And when you talk about Caymanians being in position, and the same thing Dr. Frank was saying, the people, they brought in people, and it was their Caymanians to do it. Yes, and my son is qualified, and they bring them in over him, and they're not putting Caymanians in the position.
Mm-hmm.
He went to school, and he got his master's.
Wow.
And he's very discouraged. And with
how long since he's had his master's?
About how long you been working? About 10 years now.
Wow.
And it's very discouraging for him. They bring in because the other day they brought in somebody. There was a position that they got Caymanians that could have filled. Brought somebody in that has less qualification and paying them more. It is not fair to our Caymanians.
Okay. Has he been given? This is almost. I have the answer. So you don't believe that he has been given a clear career path or the opportunity to progress within the department?
Well, I'm sure I won't have a job after I say this, but it's
I don't want. We don't want to jeopardize his
yes,
position, as well. So we have to be, extremely careful. What we say, because we don't want to jeopardize that.
It's 3 years. Last month, it's 3 years since he was given a letter. He was getting a promotion and raise up. Until this day, he has not gotten it.
Wow.
This is what they do to Cayman, and it's Caymanians in HOD that is doing it to their own Caymanians.
Well, listen, lady, I understand. Over 60 years ago, that happened to me. I think I was one of the first Caymanians came back with a technical degree, with a technical college diploma, and I was walking the streets. Also, I had to walk the streets. I had to leave to go away to another person's country to be able to get the means to be able to survive. But let me tell you about my son. My son was also interested in biology. He was taking his first degree was he was pursuing a degree in marine biology. And one summer he came home, and he went to try to get a job in the lab up at Sound Road. He wanted to go with them when they counted the fish and all that kind of stuff. And they said that they didn't have the funds to hire him. I discovered that they had hired 2 students from the UK that summer. So I asked. So then when I pressed them, they said that the financial secretary who had to provide the funds were off the island on holiday and couldn't do it. So I went to them and I said, listen, I would like to give my son some money for the summer. Then I'll give you the money that I think that he could earn as a student, $150, $175 a week, something like that. I'll give it to you and you give it to him. And they say they did not have any facilities for that. So they gave me to run around all the summer. So I used to buy him a lot of these toys where airspace things, like boats and things, the pockets where you have to put them together, glue them together from little and look at the diagrams. And I watch him all day putting those little pieces together. And I says to him, I think that you have hands of a surgeon. And I think that you should give up biology because you're not going to get a job in Cayman as a biologist. They're not going to hire you. And then he said, you think I should do that? And I said, yeah, if I can get a job at hospital for you, would you take the job? And he said he will think about it. So I went to see Mr. Eden, who was the Minister of Health then. And I spoke to him about it. And he says, I'm going to call up to the hospital and ask him to take him as a student. Mm-hmm. My son went up to the hospital. And the doctors told me that year that he could sew up a wound better than them. And so he went back to school and he changes his major from biology to pharmacology, mm-hmm. because he wanted to know how drugs acted on the diseases. Today he is a very, very successful bariatric surgeon in America, mm-hmm. making a lot of money and well known all over the United States. He's a professor at one university, and he's a bariatric surgery in America. So maybe it's not the right thing for him. Mm-hmm. Maybe he should analyze his options, and maybe he should go into into the medical field.
I think what caller needs to be inquired of, whether or not there's anything within the civil service to address his concerns. If he's been, promised a promotion and that has been put in writing for him for such a long period of time and that hasn't been actioned upon, there must be some remedy within government or some means for him to address that. And that the mere fact that he's questioning it should not be in any way any excuse for them to either victimize him or, try to constructively dismiss him as well. Are you still there, caller? Okay, the caller's left us, so mm-hmm. I hope and I trust that she's still listening, yes. and that she would have heard that, as well. But again, it really, and I'm not picking on any individual head of department and stuff, but I still continue to say, for those Caymanians who are in the position to ensure that your Caymanians progress, that is where it has to start. If you don't do it for them, then I'll use the. No, maybe I won't. I won't. Well, I was going to say I'll use Radio Cayman as an example and say if the director of Radio Cayman doesn't ensure that her Caymanians mm-hmm. are, Radio Cayman, we don't have too many who are non-Caymanian as well. Yeah, let's grab. We have about a minute and a half before we go back, so that the caller's back on there. Go right ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry about that. I hope you heard what we were saying.
Yes, I did. But I'm saying that is that Caymanians are very discouraging. A lot of government departments, a lot of Caymanians are just being, overlooked and not being promoted. And it's hard when children go away and study for something and come back and is being put in this position. We sat down and talked to him and told him, to consider, going into something else. Mm-hmm. We've talked to him about it, but if
that's the love of his life, then he should pursue it, and he shouldn't be discouraged at all.
If that's the love of his life, he should pursue it. But But if he should have a long analysis of what's happening, and then he should probably look for other options, because sometimes the thing that you're pursuing and stuff might not be what God has set out for you.
Yeah,
I find that in many cases, because when I came back with my dental technology degree, I fought hard and fast to get a job in the dental clinic, and they would not hire me. Today I'm an attorney.
So you encourage your son to hang in there, and he should explore all options in terms of because the civil service talk about HR audits and things of that nature. So when they're going through a hiring practice, process, there are certain things that they should be following. He should follow up on that letter that he's received from them and ask them when is that going to happen as well.
He has numerous letters that he's writing to them, what's happening with it, because I told him, I said, whatever you do, make sure that you have it in writing.
And maybe he should talk to the president of the Civil Service Association as well to see what the associate, if he's a member there. If he isn't, first of all, he should become a member of the Civil Service Association and then speak to them there to let them know what he's going through as well. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Top of the hour headline news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Updated COVID figures from public health show 54 cases of the disease registered on Sunday, 97 on Monday. This includes 8 new cases in the sister islands. 11 patients are getting treatment in the hospital. 10 of them are vaccinated. Ukraine's president tells the BBC, quote, "We don't see any withdrawal yet of Russian troops from Ukraine's borders." It comes after Russia said it was pulling back more troops, this time from the Crimean Peninsula. NATO's chief Jens Stoltenberg says it has not seen any de-escalation on the ground either, and Russia, quote, continues the military buildup. NATO defense ministers are meeting in Brussels later to discuss the threat of a Russian invasion. A series of cyber attacks on Tuesday knocked out the websites of Ukraine's defense ministry and 2 banks. Meanwhile, Ukraine is marking a day of unity after earlier U.S. reports suggested Russia could attack today. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Chr.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Chr. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. We do have a caller, but I also have a WhatsApp message, and I want to share this one because this has to do with one discussion that we were having earlier. And this person says, good morning. It says, a group of primary students go to CCMI every year for a 3-day learning experience. Only this year, they reduced the trip to just 1 full day in Little Cayman and a day with in-class lessons from a member from CCMI. So that is good. They're introducing them to it, and I want to thank that writer for sharing that with us. So that is a start, and we have to take that and progress that along. We want to get their interest, give them an appetite for things like marine biology and marine studies in our environment. And then when they do go off to study, we want to give them the opportunities to come back to their home country, the only country that they know as home, the only country where many can legally reside. They would have to get a work permit or get residency in other countries, and they then should be given first and foremost opportunities in the Cayman Islands. And I'll ask the rhetorical question, are they? And I will say, not necessarily, not all of the time. The majority will say, no, we are not given those opportunities that we as Caymanians are entitled to.
The highest law in our land gives us the right to those jobs once we're qualified.
Yeah.
You know, so there should not we should not have to do this on the radio. You know, I feel so sad that I have to do this in my own country for my own fellow men, for my own fellow women. I have to be pleading to be recognized in my own country and to get my own rights. I mean, this is the place where they have the right. They don't have the right to get it in America or Canada or United Kingdom or someplace.
Yes. Okay, let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, O.C.
Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Good. I could tell you that this morning that I'm sort of feeling okay because I think that when people petition for rights that they actually are entitled to, and they realize that those that are in power don't really have the Constitution to really be able to understand what rights really mean, because it's not just the passing on of something that is mechanical, because a right at the end of the day that the Constitution is talking about is a right to self-determination, which is impossible if people do not have access to certain types of jobs in order to secure their material existence. The security of people is very important in a society. That's why we're in society in the first place. That's why we are part of a social contract, to have that type of security. And when that is breached, then the society has breached the legitimacy to its own existence and continuation. So I think it's very important, because as much as I might complain, I never complain in the sense that I think that I'm actually a victim. I complain as a protester. I am not a victim because I decided to fight the system. And I do not apologize for the fact that I feel that that was deliberate. Because at the end of the day, I can stand and say, and I can prove, and I have not made that proof something that could be examined on radio, because there's no time for that. But I've actually recorded it. I've gone through it many, many times, analyzed it, and I will put it out there. What has gone on in the Cayman Islands in terms of people's inability to have their grievances heard is really the result of the lack of any sort of cohesiveness in the Caymanian community. We don't have that kind of solidarity that allows us to focus on these issues continuously to be able to resolve them for anybody more than ourselves. The normal Caymanian tendency is to sell out, to solve an individual problem rather than looking at the general problems of everybody. And this is basically being one of the complaints I think that people have made after elections, is that they're very enthusiastic before elections, during elections, but when the elections conclude, they're normally very critical of their government because there's no cohesiveness. There's no way to really address the issues which the majority have. And that, of course, is a result of the lack of any type of civic organizations that focus on these types of solutions and realizes how important that is ultimately to political stability. The instability of the Cayman Islands in terms of social breakdown has reflected in the political arena, and it will become a crisis at some times that will be very difficult to deal with in a humane manner. So it is something when people complain, they've been complaining for ages, like myself, that if those people don't have ears to hear, they will one day hear with much more loud noises than they hear now. That's just a warning to everybody. It's not a threat. And those people who continue to ignore the cries of the people are going to be held responsible at certain times in history, if not, in fact.
Yeah, and history has proven that.
It has proven that over and over again. And I don't understand why young people who get in power and who have a situation, they do not understand it. And I have always advocated for people, not just for myself, because if I have done 45 years in this country, and I have had 10 years of salaried employment, then God has been good to me. So when I use the word God, I know what I mean.
Doc, thank you very, very much for that. Thanks. One of our listeners has written in and said, this person says, firstly, I'm aware of several students who were interested in marine biology, and I believe this number is growing. These are highly intelligent, well-qualified individuals who I hope will pursue studies in this field. One department that I am aware of is the Department of Environment, where Ms. Gina Ebanks-Petrie heads a department with several Caymanians. I may get their names wrong, but Lisa Hurlston, John Bothwell, Mark Orr, and Leah Grant, they all come to mind. Also, Tim Austin, who grew up here in the Cayman Islands. And I want to thank that listener for that, and that is fine. Now, the question is, where are the Lisa Hurlston Juniors, the John Bothwell Juniors, the Mark Orr Juniors, the Leah Grant Juniors, the Tim Austin Juniors? Are we identifying them?
Yes. Where are they?
Yeah. Do we have them identified? Are we taking them and preparing them, getting their interest in these areas so that we don't end up in a situation like the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, where eventually we got a Caymanian as the commissioner of police, and then we went one step forward in that, and we now have moved backwards. I'm not sure how many steps backward, but I would count the steps in terms of the number of commissioners that we have had since Buell Bragg, and they've all been non-Caymanian. So I would venture to say at least we're 4 steps behind, maybe more than that now as well. Miss Susan, we have a caller. Let's take the commercial break. Take the commercial break so we don't have to interrupt the caller and we can give them sufficient time to talk. Caller, please hang in there. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we will take your call, so please stay tuned.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
The Work Jobs Cayman payment portal has been upgraded. Now customers can upload the application when making an online payment. This new portal feature allows for easier submission of applications. Call 945-9672 or visit www.worc.ky for instructions on how to use the payment portal.
For the record, with Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have two callers on hold, so we're going straight to the phone lines again, Doc. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm great. Thank you. I wanted to just touch on a few topics.
Sure.
All to do with Caymanians and being able to progress in the job arena. Succession planning is a very, very important thing, but I'm not quite sure that our government gets the concept. And the reason that I say that, there was a panel on one of the shows recently. I don't think it was a morning show. Maybe it was. Anyway, a lot of higher-ups and people who are involved in the HR process, and I think indeed the deputy governor, who is head of the civil service, was a part of it.
About the e-recruitment, I believe it was? Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
And based on certain comments that I heard on that particular morning, that show, it makes me wonder if they really understand the concept. For instance, someone on the show said, well, we can't hold a job open for a Caymanian for 4 or 5 years. But in truth and in fact, that's exactly what is supposed to be done. Now, the job isn't open in the sense that it's vacant, but the person that's in that job, if they are non-Caymanian, they're supposed to be, it should be made known to them that this job is earmarked for a student that we've just sent off to university.
Yes.
When the student comes home during the holidays, they're going to work here and shadow you. And when they come back at the end of that time, it is their job. Simple. And if you don't understand that when you're signing your contract with the Cayman Islands government, then it's not the right job for you, unfortunately. No, and I'll speak quickly because I know time is limited. They also, on that very same show, making the reference to when government used to bond their scholarship recipients.
Yes.
They said that was discontinued because we thought we should give the scholarship people more choice. Well, I can tell you that there's certain things in history that can be tied in with a particular incident or something that happened, and there is a direct correlation between the Caymanian unemployment conundrum and when they discontinued bonding. Bonding was the perfect way for the government to ensure that they got back returns on their investment, and it was a win-win because it gave the Caymanian the opportunity and knowing that when I go home, my job is there and I will get this elusive experience that everybody requires because they won't hire you, you're qualified but inexperienced. Well, the government who sent the student on a scholarship should have their job earmarked. They should be providing that experience, and a lot of it can be gained during the breaks. But even when they come back as that new graduate, they should not be competing unfairly in this job market. It is the qualified Caymanian that my heart is breaking for. We hear it, we see it, we know about it. I know of a young chef who went and he availed himself to the very best, even going to the Cordon Bleu Culinary Institute in Europe. Came back here and was offered some sort of little waiter position and was discouraged in every way, discriminated, victimized, and finally the child gave up, and he's abroad now and doing very, very well. So that bonding needs to be reinstated. It is government money that's providing the scholarship, and the government has an obligation to the students who get these scholarships. Of course, the student has their obligation. You know, I'm not talking about an entitlement thing. The student must maintain their grades, must fulfill whatever requirements the government puts on them. But that 2 or 3 year bonding is crucial. It would guarantee that the Caymanian gets their experience. Then if they want more choice, as the deputy governor stated, they get that choice when they have completed their internment or whatever they want to call it with the government. Then they are qualified and with 3 years experience under their belt. And I know they have some program right now where I think it's the POCS, the portfolio
the civil service.
Yeah, will give money to another department.
Yes, they did mention that. But caller, if I could interrupt you for a second, and in those situations where if you are bonded by government, you're given a scholarship, and there's no place for you in government, then we have to ensure then that our immigration laws, our work permit laws are designed in such a way that those persons can then segue to the private sector, to those private sector jobs that are available also. So we shouldn't just limit it to government, but our immigration laws and our work permit laws should be in such a way that they're in favor of Caymanian applicants.
And Scholar, I've known of instances where students come back bonded for 3 years, and because of the narrative, because of the existence of glass ceiling, a concrete ceiling, I should say, a concrete ceiling, and the lack of socioeconomic neglect and the social neglect on the part of some departments, they do not want to interrupt and break down the concrete ceiling to allow the students to come in to climb that ladder to get up to that ceiling. And so what they do, they said, well, okay, we can release you from your bond. And then the students is left out into the open. With no place to go. That is the problem that we have. That's the problem that we have. Some of us, I say, do not like each other.
I just
once we get on the ladder, we pull the ladder up so the other Caymanians cannot get up there too.
Okay, go ahead, caller. I'm going to give you an opportunity to wrap up.
I would love to listen to Dr. Max when we finish, but there were just 2 other things. It is called career guidance or career counseling. Do we have sufficient resources in that area? And I don't think so. For instance, right now, there should be such a glut, such a need for people in the medical field. We see, and we have the time, we see that there's a new facility that's proposed, and I think they had a groundbreaking for the Astor Med City. The Health City Cayman Islands is expanding and building a new place in Cayman Bay. Now, during the 2 to 3 years that it will take for those to come online, who is saying we need to train up 100 nurses, we need lab technicians, we need doctors, we need all of the various elements, including medical secretaries, those type things. Somebody should be trying to ensure that the students who are going abroad are not all training to be accountants. You know, the one Caymanian doctor that I'm aware of that qualified in recent years, a wonderful young man. And my understanding was, based on the amount of calls that his mother made to these shows, was that he had a lot of difficulty getting any help from government. He's in the private sector, understudying one of Cayman's best doctors, and I think he'll do very, very well. But apparently he was not really supported, at least not to the level he needed by the Cayman Islands government. So that, and finally, if we don't understand how to do succession planning, or how ask Mr. Billy, that esteemed caller, that you have under, he calls infrequently.
Yeah, we spoke to him this morning, and we talked about the same subject, in legal department.
But on another time, I heard him say, when I left my country to go abroad to train, I knew what job I was coming back to, and the person in that job knew that I would be coming back for that job. That's how other countries do it. Why are we afraid to do it for these few little thousand young people that we have?
All since that young man been back, yes, they hold him down, and what they did is what I want to say, and then I'm going to just close off. What they do is bring people here to work, and our government give them, or our laws give them the right to stay here on their paper as a Caymanian, and then they build their big homes, and now the government can't move them. So when these, like that little young man come back here to work, now he can't get a job because these people come and settle in, and now our people have to beg. We are in the Cayman Islands. We are Caymanians. Why do we have to beg? We can't go to their country and do what they come here to do. Why do we, our people, our leaders, allow these people to come here and do what we have to do? Thank you, O.C.
Thank you very much for that. And we still have another caller on hold, Ms. Susan. Let's grab that caller as well. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Hey, good morning. First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it immensely.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that Henry was able to take care of it for me.
Yes. He's a good ambassador. As a matter of fact, I think you should appoint him as a sales representative for Grand Cayman.
Yes.
I think that's on the agenda.
Okay.
And after a great amount of advocacy, I finally received my round bread.
Well, I'm so glad of that, man.
Yes. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
And as he gave it to me in my office, I broke off a piece and I didn't even wait till I got home.
Yeah, he told me about it.
Yes.
I mean, look, I know that was going to come in it, but I called to just tune in on what you were saying about with the Caymanians getting jobs and stuff. But I think over the years, a lot of nepotism took place with the people that were in charge of Cayman.
Oh, yeah.
Or as far as the jobs are concerned, that they made sure that anyone that was related to them were always guaranteed a job whenever they go up to studies. And I think it have come now to a point now where they can't do that anymore. And it's still, they looked at another trend now to sort of hold down the Caymanians, you know. And sooner or later, it's going to break through. And when Caymanians decide to get up and do something, you know they can do it. We can do it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And it will take place, and I hope they really come to know like how other countries dealt with it. But I just hope that it gets to the point where Caymanians can go abroad and study and feel comfortable coming back home and taking over their island, like how most countries do, you know.
Okay, well, caller, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
For that, and I know that within your family you have persons who are involved in human resources, as well, and they do an excellent job within government. They have progressed, and they have a passion also for Caymanians, and want to thank that one member of your family who is involved in that as well. Ms. Susan, we do have a caller, but let's take the break now so that we can give that caller an opportunity to talk without interruption. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
This Valentine's, save 25% on new Tempur-Pedic or Sealy mattress. Yes, 25% off plus free delivery on mattresses, adjustable bases, and foundations during Brand Source Home Gallery Valentine, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy mattress sale on now. Select from firm, medium, soft, and pillow top in all sizes. Hurry! Sale ends Saturday, February 19th. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive. Call 949-5000 for details.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons?
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Join the Alex Panton Foundation for our 5th annual Youth Mental Health Symposium, taking place on Saturday, 19th of February from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., featuring an impressive lineup of speakers and panels discussing our theme, Thriving in Uncertain Times. This year's event will be streamed via the Alex Panton Foundation Facebook page. Visit alexpantonfoundation.ky to learn more. Sponsored in part by Dart, 3T, Burger King, Popeyes, Tower, and Compass Media.
For the record, with Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before I grab the next call, I just want to again say thank you for the young lady who called in from the fire service and who was one of the applicants or maybe the finalists for the chief fire officer position and pledged her support and demonstrated her support for the Mr. Randa Rankin, who actually got the post. One of the things that I was worried about when I heard about the promotion, of course, I was happy, for Mr. Rankin, and I was hoping and trusting, praying that there would not be created within the fire department any divisions, because we know sometimes the old colonial policy of divide and rule, divide and conquer is always used. And when you have more than one Caymanian vying for a position, you have to be able to treat that extremely delicately and ensure that everyone who is affected one way or the other by it understands the reasons for it. But I am glad to see that the support is there for the chief fire officer designate. And I'm really happy for that. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Markfield. How are you guys?
Morning, fine, Minister. How are you?
Honorable Minister, how are you, sir?
I am well, thank the Lord. Another blessed day in the Cayman Islands. Mm-hmm. I just want to say thank you so much for your continued conversations on radio. Very positive based on the many calls that are calling in about Caymanians and job placement. Mm-hmm. And I want to also say that, I encourage the public to continue to have dialogue via these platforms, because as everybody talks about it, we analyze in our own minds. Even if we don't call in, we think about it. And then you go by your cooler, you go home over dinner or whatever, and you think and you talk about it. So we have to have that at the forefront of our minds all the time. But also to give some context to some of the discussions, because it is so important about Caymanian placement. I want to see if I can break it into 2 parts, one being private sector and one being the civil service. Mm-hmm. And recognizing that we have a perception of what our representatives can do, and sometimes we're not fully aware of what they can and cannot do. So I want to deal with the private sector part first, which is obviously under the Minister for Labour and Deputy Premier, who I respect highly and I know is committed to Caymanian first policy. And one of the things that we're slowly waiting on, unfortunately. We're waiting for the final report, is that census report where we can take a proper analysis of where people are within our industry, within our economy, where the job placements are, which ones are Caymanians, which ones are not, and have a holistic approach of exactly what we were calling about this morning in respect to finding Caymanians, having our scholarship programs aligned with the jobs that are available, where is our economy going, what will we need in the next 10 years, a more holistic approach to placement for Caymanians to guarantee that they have opportunities. Now, you have always heard that this government is committed to database decisions, and the census is the number one thing that we'll be using a lot, and I'm so happy to say that the Deputy Premier gave us a brief update of some of the preliminary numbers of the census and has given us an update of when the census final report should be done. So I want the public to know at the forefront, from a private sector perspective, we're looking at the economy to try to collaborate what we do within government to assist that Caymanian training and the opportunity to get them back into those jobs. Now, getting them into the jobs has to do with our labor side of things, whereby we have the immigration, labor tribunals, and all those other elements to ensure that Caymanians get a fair opportunity. That takes process. We're trying to clean it up slowly but surely without disturbing the flow of our employment sector. It's going to take time, but we're committed to that. I want the public to know that. So with that being said, I want to move now to the civil service part. Gentlemen may remember, as a member of opposition, I was the one that brought the motion about within the civil service that the director, deputy directors, CEOs, deputy CEOs should all be Caymanian, and that the civil service should take that approach within a 5-year period so we can plan for it. I want to say that I've had many conversations with the deputy governor, who's constitutionally responsible. Is actually the governor, but that responsibility is delegated to the deputy governor, the Honorable Franz Manderson. And I want to say there's been a lot of positive discussions in-house, because we as politicians don't have the authority to dictate who's hired and who's not hired within the civil service. Constitutionally, we have no power whatsoever. I know there's a perception of that, but I just want to make it clear, because if we were to try to dictate that, then we'd be outside the remit of our constitutional power. And it could be held accountable to that. Matter of fact, we've been warned about our position and our power already in respect to the hiring and firing of civil servants. I'm not suggesting there should be any firing at all at this particular point, but from a hiring perspective and putting Caymanians in those positions. I say that to say this, that the Honorable Franz Manderson has given this government commitment to that continued placement of Caymanians and the strategy of using the census as an analysis of proper placement so that we can eventually get to that day where we feel more proud of Caymanians being in the top positions, guiding our different directions, whether it be within civil service, whether it be in private sector, department level, whether it's public authorities. So the callers are all right to say that there is mechanisms that we can use to plan ahead and place Caymanians in their training, but that takes planning in itself, and we're trying to get there, and one of the key factors for that is the census and the analysis. So I think it's important. I'm obviously putting myself at risk here for calling in and criticisms, but I think it's important that the people understand that it is at the forefront of our minds, and we're analyzing the best ways to get there, and the discussions are happening positively, I must admit, with all sides, whether it's the responsibilities of the labor part that we're in control of, or the civil service and its rep by the deputy governor, given his commitment to those things. So, yes, it may not be shiny right now, but I think that the government is on the right path, working together hand in hand with the governor's office through the deputy governor to get to that place. Everybody, I believe, that is within the government and the civil service want Caymanians to be in those positions, is to ensure that we get them there slowly but surely. So,
Minister, if I may interrupt for a second, yes. The article the other day in relation to the carve-out for real estate agents, and on the show I commented about it because there was, I think it was Cayman News Service that had a quote by the Deputy Premier and the Minister in charge of Labour. And the Deputy Governor speaks about using the accreditation system for the private sector. And my disagreement with that is that I don't believe that accreditation, using the accreditation system, as opposed to having carve-outs in certain jobs that in the private sector that work permits will not be issued for that accreditation cannot replace that policy or cannot substitute for a policy of having carve-outs in certain jobs for Caymanians. And the one in particular, the real estate industry, we see it that it is booming in the Cayman Islands. And, we may have many realtors who are Caymanians, one way or the other Caymanians, but how many Caymanian real estate agents do we have? And shouldn't there be a carve-out in that area? Any comments?
Well, I think you said the deputy governor. Were the comments on deputy governor?
Deputy premier and deputy governor.
Okay, well,
the deputy governor speaks to using accreditation, and it seems as if the deputy premier wants to supports that position and wants to take that approach as opposed to carve-outs for Caymanians in certain jobs.
Well, I can't speak to what my colleague has commented on because I don't know the full capacity of the context, right? And I don't want to undermine my deputy premier. He's my deputy premier, and I respect him in his position as the Minister for Labour. I can only tell you what my personal position is, because the government has not had a full discussion about that suggestion of real estate employment being only for Caymanians. I am in full support of that position. I think that it is an area of skill that is easy learned, and we can train up our Caymanians. It is a lucrative one. It's one that is important that Caymanians, people who care about the land control in this country be done by people who love the nation. And obviously you're not going to get a person who loves Cayman more than a Caymanian. So I'm in support of that. I think it's a great way to get Caymanians into opportunities to create a great wealth for themselves. We've heard of so many people come here, become real estate agents, and in 10 years they're multimillionaires. So why that cannot be our people? And I'm in support of that. Now, obviously, as a government, we make a decision on a collective. Now, so I'm certain that conversation is going to come up whether or not we can use the provisions within the Constitution to say this area of business should be for Caymanians only. So I'm happy to have further discussions with my colleagues, but I'm just telling you what my personal position is. But it is a democracy, and it's done collectively together as a team. So I don't want to jeopardize by undermining any of my colleagues in that respect, but that's my personal opinion.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that.
Mr. Minister?
Yes, sir?
Just several months ago now, one of the members of the Medical and Dental Association spoke to me about the lack of dental students and the lack of dentists, Caymanian dentists. I think after the late Dr. Roy McTaggart and the late Aileen Marion, I think there's only one Caymanian dentist now. I think I'm right to say that, and I think that person is one of the big dental clinics in the island. I think there are when that person spoke to me, there were over 50 or nearly 60 dentists registered in the Cayman, and I think out of them it's only one person. Now, when you go to the dental clinic and when you go to some of these places, you have to wait such a long time before you can get attended to because they were all busy. And this person who was a member of the Medical Dental Association was saying to me that there ought to be students abroad now who would be able to are coming back now to take their places because some of those dentists now are older, retiring, and then we're going to bring in people again from other jurisdictions to take their places, and the ceiling still continues. Don't you think, sir, that I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just asking you if you agree, and because the discussion would be more for the Minister of Health. Why is it that we're not canvassing our high schools, our colleges, to see people who are qualified for some of these anchor professions? to have them abroad, like what the Bahamas did when Finland, when they said that Finland would fail because all of the people they had chased out of the Bahamas, they've sent all their people abroad. I went to school with some of them in Canada to come back to their country to take these professions up and to continue the service that they were given. Why is it that we are not spending more money on these resources? Every time an election comes around and I go out to the election meetings, I hear the whole cliche our people, our most precious resources. So then if they're precious resources, we should be like the Japan of the Caribbean. We should have them ready to step in a profession at any time. We should have more people than we need qualified. So why is it that...
Go ahead, Minister. I totally understand your sentiment, and I want to firstly say before I answer the question, never feel uncomfortable to put me on the spot. I am here by the will of the people, and you hold me accountable no matter when, where, or how. I take that responsibility seriously, and if I can't answer the question, I'll say I'll come back to you.
Thank you, Minister.
No problem at all. In respect to your question, it goes back to what we were saying before about the government's plan of action in respect to getting proper data to make a strategic way of doing this slowly but surely. And I know that word slowly doesn't sound good because we want immediate effect now. But we're talking about things that are not necessarily always in our full control. For example, yes, we can say that we can do quicker actions in places that we have the control. So, for instance, HSA, which is an authority under the government. We can create more policies, and I guess I would accept the fact that that question has to be brought to the Minister of Health, right, and Wellness, the Honorable Sabrina Turner, and she can adequately respond to that. But in respect to the other parts when we talk about private sector, we have a lot of private practices, and the question is about how many private practices who don't want to hire Caymanians that are qualified maneuver around the system to ensure that they get persons who they want. So there is that delicate balance of, hold on, people say, well, I should be able to get the best person I want compared to, should I get the person that is a Caymanian? And as opposed to saying that a Caymanian can't be the best person for the job. So we have to use our labor controls to ensure that when Caymanians are qualified to do so, and that's why we hire people like yourself to be on certain boards to protect our people, because there's many people who try to manipulate the system and get around it. And the government is trying to change those little small tweaks and those loopholes that they use every day. So when a Caymanian comes back, if they can't fulfill the jobs that we have control over, like the public health, where direct control from government, that the private sector, that you have to give good justification and very good justification why a Cayman that is qualified can't be the best person for that job. So we're working on that slowly but surely, but recognizing we're trying to respect the freedom of business owners to say, listen, they want the best employee available to them. But this subjective viewpoint of what is the best employee is what we're trying to navigate and redefine as per our policy to say the best person is the Caymanian.
The best Caymanian employees it should be the best Caymanian employee that they should get, not the best employee. But Minister, thank you very much for that. Gone way over time. We have about
thank you so much, gentlemen. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate your time. And
thank you. Okay. Ms. Susan, we have how many callers? 4 callers, and we have to take the commercial break. We're going to try to accommodate. I have lots of WhatsApp messages and stuff. We won't cover everything today, but it goes to show you how important this topic is. You know why it's important? Because it is for real. It is happening in the Cayman Islands. People are experiencing it, and that is why. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
It's time to update your information. If you've recently changed your mailing address, phone number, or email address, please let your Water Authority customer service team know. Visit our website www.waterauthority.ky to download and fill out our customer information update form, or contact our customer service team at info@waterauthority.ky or call 949-2837.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station. Your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
For the record, with Chr.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Chr. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have about 10 minutes and we have 4 callers queued up. Like I said before, because this is real, this is something that's happening in the Cayman Islands and many people are feeling it. That's why we're getting so many responses to it. My WhatsApp messages here are coming fast and furious as well. So we're going to have to open this up for another time as well. But we're going to ask every caller, please be brief. 10 minutes to go, 4 callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, morning. You got to give me my time because I'm MP for New London. listen to me. Well, I'm calling to congratulate, Ron, the ranking, because I know where he come from, because my husband hired him. And when they were appointing him, he don't read papers or he don't listen to news, but I said to him, Ron, the ranking is in position for fire chief. What you think about him? He said, he got experience, he got the years in. And my husband was the one for that. I'll never forget Don Hugh. He dead and gone, but Don Hugh always used to say, I want to see you in that chair. But it was always enviousness and hatefulness for that position. And unfortunately, some bought a hard goat mouth and they put it on him and made him get sick, that they had to retire him on the medical. But if he had get it, it wouldn't have been all of this chaos and wouldn't have cost government all of the money with all them Englishmen and stuff, because he was a man for that chair.
Okay, thank you very much for that caller. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Hello, OC.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's me again, so I'll be extra brief.
Yes, thank you.
It is very good that the minister is continuing now that he's in government to talk about this issue, but just a little bit of a rejoinder to him. You see, it is not for Franz Manderson to amend the legislation. The public service management law can be amended today to do exactly what you just said a moment ago, OC, to say that the best person to be employed for it should be the best Caymanian, not the best.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yes,
That is not for France. That is for the people. Yeah. And on top of that, finally, the government can go to France and say, you know what, we want a target to be set out and so on. Do you think this is feasible? They can still work out the policy. The policy is still for the government.
Yes.
Thanks very much. Until next time.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That while the government the elected government doesn't have control over the civil service, the policies that govern the Cayman Islands, including government's hiring, is they should have and they must have a say in that. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've been listening to your program just about all morning. You know, I've been on the school bus now for some time, and I always ask my kids on the school bus, would you like to be a fireman, fire lady? Would you be a doctor and all those different things, a dentist and so forth? Oh, no, not me. I say, well, what you want to be? Oh, I don't know. And I got like 3 kids who I want to be an accountant. But you see what happened to us here? We have taken everything for granted. Didn't expect Cayman to grow the way it has grown. And every government has just keep overlooking the children of this island that could help keep this island going without having to bring in so much work permits and expats and so forth to come here and take away our jobs from these Caymanians, because right now in the working force, these kids have very little hope and they're discouraged. That's all I have to say this morning. They're discouraged.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Ms. Susan, any more callers? We're going to... One more? This is going to be the last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning.
Good morning to Dr. Steve, and good morning to the panel and everyone that there. Quickly, I'm going to make it.
Good morning.
Yes.
I'm so happy that Kenneth Bryan called in. You know what the problem that we have with Caymanians? We are very disrespectful to our own people. We no look out for our own people, and we have a lot of talk. All we do is talk and talk and talk. And it's time to be action, not only talk. And how someone will know that the person that is an MP is looking out for them if they do not even have the respect when that person calls them to answer their call. That is a thing about MP. When they're doing election time out there campaigning, you could call any one of them and they pick up their phone like in minutes, seconds, right? When them is in there, you cannot, they will not take your call. And the worst thing for a human being to feel is ignore. Right? That's a feeling that we have in us when we is ignore, and not only by a next human being, by someone that we help, by someone that we feel like we had this great respect for, but by someone that we never hurt, by someone that we never offend, because we feel like he was our friend or he is our family. Or this is the problem with, I feel, the Caribbean people and the people in general. I'm going to make it quick. I'm glad that everyone is listening and your show is fast and furious this morning, and people have a lot of issue out there today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Okay, I'm going to try to share a few of the WhatsApp. This one says government needs to set an example first, then the private sector will not have an excuse. For example, why isn't there a program for university students to intern at all of the overseas tourism offices? And why don't we see Caymanians at Cayman Airways offices overseas as well? This other writer says, good morning. On the subject of succession planning, this is critical. But in order for it to work, the overall strategy must be, and they highlight that, they have that in bold, must be aligned to a comprehensive plan and not done on an ad hoc basis based on which direction the wind is blowing. Talk is cheap. We need a national strategy and not use catchy headlines, excuses, or empty promises. This is a priority, just as important as bricks and mortar infrastructure. And they're calling for action, please. So, Doc, what I was saying earlier off air as well, we continue to build every new building. We talk about a new hospital going down in Camana Bay. The majority of persons who are going to be employed at there unlikely to be unlikely to be Caymanians.
Yes,
new businesses open up in the Cayman Islands. The majority unlikely to be Caymanians as well. So we keep adding on, piling up on the problem. Some people are saying we need to slow it down for a while. Let's get our balance, because if this thing gets too much out of balance, you know what happens when if you're in a boat and everybody is on one side, what happens? The boat flips over.
Yes.
Everybody falls out of it. Final comments from you very quickly, Doc. 1 minute.
And like Haig Borden used to say, the late Haig Borden used to say, politics is through the stomach. When people get hungry, they get angry. And when they have no place to stay and cannot pay their bills, they engage in social disobedience and social unrest, and that's what I'm saying. But bearing in mind all the stuff that we said this morning, and all the things that the callers said, we're not advocating that you must just give the jobs to Caymanian. We're not advocating that. we said you have to be qualified, and then bearing in mind, Mr. For the record, that one must also have the currency of trust and reputation also. You must have those currencies, you must carry those currencies with you. But it's very interesting, the juxtaposition that the minister now finds the ministry, I would say the cabinet, the executive finds themselves in. Because although under the Constitution the governor has the right to hire people, that doesn't say that the politicians, the cabinet, the legislature do not have the right to say who those person will be for that constitute the hiring, because under the Constitution it says that that the Caymanians can hire anybody, can make any recommendations or any decisions in respect to the entry or exclusion from, or the employment or engagement in any business or profession, movement or residence within the Cayman Islands of persons who are not Caymanians.
Yep.
So it's there. It's for them.
Yep.
It's for them now
Put it into
to
action.
Put it into action.
Yep.
It's for them to put Section 16 of the Constitution into action.
And
when they do that, then the governor will have, for instance, he will have the people he will hire will be Caymanians because the law says that we have the right to do that.
Exactly. Doc, I want to thank you for being here this morning. I want to thank all those persons who participated. So many WhatsApp messages that I wasn't able to share all of them with you. But it goes to show you, folks, that this issue is real. It is real. It is happening in the Cayman Islands. People are experiencing it. They're saying he who feels it knows it. There are a lot of people who know it in the Cayman Islands, and these WhatsApp messages that I have received, many that I have been unable to share, are a testament to that fact that there are many persons out there who are feeling it as well. So while we continue to boast and brag about how much money government is taking in, how much real estate is being sold in the Cayman Islands, don't forget how many work permits are being issued, how many buildings are being built, how many businesses are being opened up, and whether or not, this rhetorical question, I'm not saying we building for, who are they building for? Because we're not doing a whole lot of building these days. As a matter of fact, we're probably doing more tearing down than we are doing building. They are building. They are building.
We are the onlookers now.
Yes, yeah. And we have to be mindful of that. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, for the record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate toward the charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling, Dwayne E. Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/